So it's barely 3 weeks from Mother's Day, and this Mother's Day, we have turned the focus on real life mums. Now, even in normal circumstances, mums cope with a lot, working, then looking after home, looking after children. But in this COVID era, mums have actually become super mums, especially the mums with school going children. Juggling everything, housework, working from home, homeschooling. I really don't know how they are coping with all of this. Now, thankfully, my daughter's grown up and she looks after me more than I look after her. But let's hear from a real life mum who is homeschooling her children. I have Sharon here with me, Sharon Quigley. Now, Sharon is a very prominent member of Deidaa Male Club. I have known Sharon since a while, Sharon and her two beautiful kids. Sharon is from sunny Queensland. But I know that you all are waiting to hear from Sharon and get to know her a little better. So Sharon, I'd let you do the talking now. Would you tell our audience a little bit about yourself, your family, your children? So over to you, Sharon.
All right, well, hi, Samita. Thanks very much for having me on today.
My pleasure.
Well, what can I say? It's been a testing. This is going on 5 weeks now of having the kids from home at home from school. So I've got 2 children, 5 altogether, but the 2 youngest are at home now. Jet is 10. Grace has just turned 7. Very different children. So as far as homeschooling, it's been what I do for one, I cannot apply to the other. This is really our first week where the school has sent us information for us to follow. So it's been a very interesting week, and I have a great husband who's very supportive. So, he comes home from work and he helps me out when we need it.
We couldn't do without helpful husbands, so
no.
Yeah. Now, normally, prior to COVID, what was your routine like? What would you do? I mean, how much time would you spend on your own self, and how much on the children would obviously go to school. So what was the routine like then,
Well, yes, it was very different for me as it is for most people now. I have elderly parents whom I was helping out a lot. That has ceased because I have to keep my distance from them. I still do their shopping for them and checking on them. Apart from that, Jet and Grace are competitive gymnasts. So a lot of time was spent at gymnastic training, which they're missing greatly. So now they're doing online lessons.
Mm-hmm.
So they've gone from training up to 14 hours a week to training down to 3 hours a week. So I guess I'm not running back and forth from the gym all the time. Instead, I'm setting up the Zoom lessons ready, getting them ready to go. They're not thrilled about doing the online lessons. It's very different. They can still see everybody and see their coach, but they'd much rather be there in person, I get them, Jet and Grace, now to help me a lot in the kitchen.
Yep.
With the cooking.
Yep.
And the chores. They're doing more chores than they did before. Okay. Because you still have to clean the house.
Yes,
you still have to
probably
do
more.
the cooking.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you have to get them to help, and amazingly, they seem more willing to participate in those activities.
Yeah. So that's how your schedule has changed, right? Like instead of going out, you are doing things, the same things, but you are doing it more at home.
Yes, that is correct.
And the children are also adapting, isn't it? So
yes.
Would you consider that, I mean, people do point out, this is not good and this is good. So what is the upside? What would you identify as an upside of COVID, and downsides, if any, like in your opinion, if there are any downsides? So if you could please share your experience with us, so that'll be wonderful.
The definite upside is there is no racing around. There's no craziness and busyness. It's a lot more relaxed. The children are getting a lot more sleep than before. Which I think, especially because they're little athletes, they need their bodies to grow, and I think sleep is really important for them. We've tried to keep their routine the same. We haven't really let them stay up too much past their bedtimes, and even though they're still going to bed reasonably at the same time, they're sleeping in, which is great. We don't start school till 9:30 in our home.
Yes.
Because there's not that need to rush them out the door in the morning.
Yep.
I'm getting to know my children.
Yes.
I'm getting to see their schoolwork. Today, for example, I witnessed Jet. He writes a lot of his numbers and letters, instead of from the top, he starts from the bottom.
The bottom, yeah.
Yeah. Just little things that I never really, I wouldn't have noticed before. He is, with the homeschooling, he needs me to sit with him and guide him through a lot of things. I don't know whether that's a typical boy, because he is one boy out of 4 girls, whereas Grace is fiercely independent, and she just likes to be left alone. So that has been the upside. The downside, I see it affecting Grace a lot more. She doesn't want to FaceTime her friends. I think she's a little bit too young to have that connection on FaceTime. Yeah. Whereas Jet, he is still socializing online with his friends. We're getting I wouldn't say we're bored. There's always something to do at home. But I think it's when you can't do something, you crave it even more. We don't live far from the beach. We would love to get to the beach, but we can't.
I think everyone's missing the beach. We're just 5 minutes away from the beach, but we cannot go there. I mean, we can go for a short walk, but just doing a barbecue or something like that. And well, the one thing you said, which is happening in, I think, every family, that we are bonding better because we have more time. If you have children who are going to school, or who are away from home, or who actually work, have very busy lives, so if they are staying with you, they have more time, and you have more time to interact with your children. And as a family, I think we are bonding better. And I understand for younger children, it must be very unfamiliar, talking to, instead of actually having that face-to-face connection, or interacting physically, interacting virtually can take a little bit of time, isn't it? So and how have you, so you have noticed the difference between the two children, and so my question is, have you taken any special, have you done anything to actually adapt to the new routine, and have you trained your children? Or I know it's just 1 week, but what is it that you are doing, or you are thinking of doing? Because I think we may have to put up with this for a while. So what is it that you are trying to do, that steps that would make this stay at home and study at home kind of experience a little easier for children and for yourself?
I think to make things easier, you have to understand that as a mother, your children are not going to think like you do. They have their own way. And I think if you try and enforce your way on them, it's going to backfire. Sunday night, I was all prepared to write a routine down. And then I thought, you know what? I'm not even aware at this point what the school is going to send to us. So really, I need to relax. I need to have a look at what they send, what they expect from Jet and Grace, and treat it just like an orientation week. So the first day, I didn't really have a plan. I opened the email that we received Monday morning from the school, and we sort of worked through it. I tried to sit back as much as possible and let Jet and Grace read it. I was there if they needed help. If they wanted to go ahead and try it on their own, that was great too. So that was sort of Monday. Tuesday, I could see that Jet, he was the one that really needed me by his side, Grace not so much. And I thought I'd sort of help a lot more with Jet. Wednesday, he seemed to not want to accept my help so much, so I just sat back and I thought, I'm still not going to write out a routine at this point. Every day's been just a little bit different. Their moods have been different. So instead of saying, right, from 9 to 10 or 9:30 to 10:30, we're going to do maths, then we're going to have a break, I sort of, because there is just so many activities the school has sent, it is overwhelming. So I let them choose what they would like to do, what subject they would like to do. And I find as long as they are fed and watered, and I let them take multiple breaks, we get through it.
Yes.
It's not easy, but we do it.
Yes, it's not easy. Yes, of course. It's not easy. Who says it's easy? But yeah. We always think about the children, talk about the children, but we also need to talk about the mom. How has your routine, normally I have seen moms, once the children go away, I have a lot of clients, many clients who have school-going children, and when they have vacations, the school holidays, they'll tell me, Samita, we might go slow. We may not be able to have so many meetings with you. So let's wait for the school holidays to get over, So once the children go back to school, you do your own thing, maybe your work or going out for coffee with friends or a movie or a little, the me time, the downtime that you have for yourself. Do you have any downtime at all right now, or how do you, I'm sure you have less time for yourself. So how are you coping with that? Yeah.
Fortunately, I don't go to work normally.
You are lucky.
So I take my hat off to the mums and the dads that are homeschooling and working as well. I don't know how they're doing it.
No, me too.
It's a struggle. As far as downtime's concerned, I also have a homestay student that lives with us from China. She's 17. And today I got to a point where I thought I need to step away. So I took myself down and got a drive-through coffee.
Yep.
Knowing that the kids were at home safe, because I needed that. I needed 10 minutes of me time.
Yes.
Yeah. And I'm lucky, like I said before, my husband is good. Right now he's taken the kids out for a bike ride. Yep. So if he sees that I'm struggling, he's happy to step up and help me out.
He steps in. So you need to have some support. So in your case, the homestay student is helping you, and then a supportive husband. I mean, I cannot say enough about I wouldn't have been where I am today without, someone helping me silently and stepping in every time I required that support with raising children or, in my work. So I think a supportive husband, you cannot do without one, so I completely empathize. I agree with you there. Yes, we all need a little bit of, me time and I think we need to keep doing these things even now, because otherwise, if you are completely focusing on the children and on family 24/7, then one kind of loses one's sanity after a while, isn't it? You do need that little bit of breaks off and on where you do something you really like doing and you kind of are rejuvenated by that. Whatever, you have a hobby or you like tomorrow evening, I have scheduled a kind of a Zoom catch up with my friends, because we cannot meet. We are meeting virtually, and tomorrow being Friday evening. So, and I have told everyone, see, it's my downtime, and it's not even work. I mean, we just sit together and gossip and chat. We'll do everything that we normally do, but we would do it in my, on Zoom. So it is virtual, it is long distance, but that's what we can do right now. Now,
yes, well, I have to say the reasoning that we start school at 9:30 is that I can fit in a workout prior to school starting. I find if I've done half an hour of exercise, it puts me in a good place mentally.
Absolutely.
That I can cope with the day ahead of me much better.
Yeah, I have to get my exercise, and particularly now that we are not going out. If you're going out, I take the public transport to city and everything. So you are getting exercise anyway, but right now when we are at home, we are spending more time at home. I think we need all these physical activities even more. So I do yoga about 45 minutes to over an hour. And I have to do it because that's what keeps me going. And I completely agree with you again that we need. And that brings me to the children. You said that they are very active. I know they are very active. And you said that they would rather go to the gymnasium, but now they cannot, go physically. So tell us a little more about, you were saying that they have instructions from on screen, and tell us a little more about that, because that sounded very interesting. How are they getting instructions virtually, so, and they are keeping up with the routine.
Yes, well, obviously with gymnastics there's a lot of different apparatus, so they can't be coached on those because a lot of families don't have the equipment. So they're doing a lot more core strength, balance work, strengthening, stretching, and we have a mat on the floor that they're enabled to do flips and whatnot. And fortunately, my husband is very handy, so he has built a lot of gym equipment in the backyard. So they're very fortunate that they can get out there on the bars, on the pommel horse, even out on the trampoline, and do a lot of their gymnastics work out there.
Yeah, I think I saw some photographs and they look just absolutely amazing. I saw Grace doing something, some moves. I think you'd posted somewhere. And I thought, well, that's a great idea, to be able to do all of these things when you cannot go out and mingle or play. Wonderful. Now, a little bit of, personal question.
It would be...
Sorry, come again?
Yes.
Yeah. So
I was just going to say, it would be devastating for them to go, when they go back to training, to have lost, their skill set. So with the online training, at least, they will keep up to a standard.
Absolutely. And I think it's likewise for learning, homeschooling. The most important thing is, they'll bounce back. Children can be very resilient and they'll bounce back. But the thing is, the most important thing is that they should not be losing momentum. Once you get out of the habit of going regularly to school and learning and doing your lessons, homework, etc., I think the most important thing right now is to have that momentum going, isn't it?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. So now as I said, I was coming to a personal question. So it's about Deidaa. I cannot, not talk about Deidaa. It's part and parcel of my life. So you have been using some of my aprons, and I know I've got some beautiful photographs from you with Grace and the organic toys, and then lovely pictures of Jet and Grace wearing the aprons and doing a little bit of baking and cooking at home. So how much do you think these kind of, these are like not exactly toys, but kind of improvised, and they are supposed to be encouraging certain hobbies in children. So as a as a user, as a customer, I would like to know about your experiences. Is Deidaa adding value to the children's lives or activities when they are, housebound? So that's something
Well,
yeah. So yes, please.
absolutely, absolutely. We are so fortunate to have Deidaa products in our
Thank you.
house.
Thank you.
We all benefit from them.
Wonderful. Yeah.
Cooking in the kitchen, it's just part and parcel that we wear the aprons.
Absolutely.
Even Jet, he's 10 now. He thinks he's a pretty cool kid.
Yeah.
He
Why not?
loves wearing the apron.
Okay, wonderful. And he looks very good also. Yeah.
Yeah, he does. And I think by wearing the apron, and sometimes even the little chef's hats,
Yeah.
it makes them feel that they're stepping into the role
Yeah.
of a mini chef.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's been great. And, we've been, like, I'm sure so many other households, we've been doing more than our fair share of baking.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's been great. We've also been doing a lot of craft. And so they also love wearing it when they're doing craft. And of course, I love them wearing it, especially during craft, because it protects their clothes. And they, in the pockets, they stick all sorts of things. When we're cooking, it can be, the wooden spoons or the tongs. And when we're doing craft, the paintbrushes go in. So, we've loved having that. Grace, she adores Bunny and Hot Dog.
Yeah.
She has a little family of stuffed toys in her room, and she's always moving them from place to place and rehoming them. And they're always there. So she's thoroughly enjoyed playing with them. And I have to say, my beautiful red clutch bag, I cannot wait to use that again when we're allowed to go out for dinner.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, thank you for your kind words, because especially with the children's toys, we wanted to make them versatile, and we wanted to ensure that they added value to what the children were doing. So it could be an art smock, or it could be for baking, cooking, or even a little bit of light gardening. So but it's good to hear from a client that the children are using it, and I'd love to see your photograph when you go out next with the clutch bag. So I'd really look forward to that. Now, Sharon, I know you are busy. You are, again, juggling so many things, but one last tip that you might have, there are many mothers, many members of Deidaa who are actually juggling work from home, homeschooling the kids, looking after the household anyway, and maybe like yourself, looking after, at least virtually looking after parents and elderly in the family. So what is that one tip, like, you've come across as someone very resolved and balanced? What would you tell them? Like, some of them, a client of mine told me, Samita, I cannot think straight, so she said, give me some time before I actually go back to the meetings and my, all the work that we do together. And she said, I'm homeschooling. That's what got me thinking that it must be really tough. So what would you tell the mums there who are struggling with all of this, the entire experience?
Well, don't get me wrong. I am definitely one of those struggling mums. However, I can give a few tips. There is a light at the end of the tunnel.
At the end of the tunnel.
This is short-lived, and we need to embrace it.
Yeah.
Because before you know it, we'll be racing around
Absolutely.
again.
Yeah.
I think if you're feeling overwhelmed, the lounge room is right there. Put that kettle on.
Yeah.
Tell the kids, hey, go and have 15 minutes on your iPad, and then just go and remove yourself and have that cuppa. And just don't have too high expectations. If we don't finish all that schoolwork that the school has assigned, it's okay. It's going to be okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
don't stress.
That's what I think, because take it, I mean, in my Buddhism, they say that you should turn poison into medicine. So we should take it as an opportunity to upskill, to bond. We don't have time at all for these things when we are rushing from one place to another. And if we need to take a break, so be it. Like, just as you said, I love my tea, and I would sit down on the recliner with a cup of green tea, and I have my Simba with me, my pet Groodle. So he's really a stress buster. So yeah, I mean, just having that little bit of, those tiny breaks, it's very important, and it'll not be the end of the world. So I think we have you've given us a very good insight into your life with children at home, and a changed routine because of COVID. And I'm very thankful to you, Sharon, that you've done this for us. It's not everyone would want to talk about, open up about their personal experiences, and see how wonderful it is. Like, we are actually talking. I mean, we've known each other since a few years now, a couple of years at least, more than that.
Yep.
And because of COVID, we are actually talking face to face. How good is that?
Yes, it's
and
great.
you've been wonderful, and I'm sure the mums of Deidaa, the mums with school-going children, will go away with a lot of tips and learning from this conversation. So on behalf of the entire community, the entire Deidaa community, I would say a very big thanks to you, and my love to Jet and Grace. And I would love to get some more of those beautiful photographs, and one with the clutch bag. I don't have that. So
Absolutely.
definitely. And
Okay.
thank you so much, Sharon, for your time. Look forward to catching up again.
Well, thank you for having me.
No, it was my pleasure.
It's been a pleasure.
Absolutely. Absolute pleasure. Okay. All right.